Good morning, MCM Liverpool. How are we? How are we? Come on! Vic Mignogna's on the sofa. How are you, sir?
I'm great. How are you? How's everybody doing? Having a good time? What a great weekend. I love Liverpool. I love it. It's been fantastic.
Has it? You've enjoyed it?
Very much so. We walked around town last night and had a great time. Had some nice dinner down at the Phil.
Nice.
It was wonderful. Brilliant.
Good. So, have you seen any cosplayers around? Any?
Oh my gosh, you guys! Oh my gosh, some amazing cosplay. I've seen some wonderful. You know, this is only the second year, isn't it, that you guys have had the Liverpool show. I've done several of the others in London and Birmingham and Manchester and Telford, but when I was offered the opportunity to be here, I was so excited. Because you guys, I've heard some really great things from last year, and I'm very, very happy to be a part of it.
Damn right. I mean, some of the cosplays I think have been absolutely on point. I think they just, every con I come to, they just up and up their game.
Yes, and there's my Crow brother right over there. Yeah, Crow, whoa, give it up.
Round of applause.
Yes.
So let's start off with the Fullmetal Alchemist. I want to know, which of the two storylines, the original and Brotherhood, do you prefer?
Ooh, okay.
I've gone straight in the deep end.
Don't anybody kill me, all right? Don't throw any swords. You know, I really have a great deal of love for the original series. The original Fullmetal was, and the only way I can explain it is that was where I first met the characters. You know, your first experience. It's like the first girl you fall in love with, you know, or the first guy you fall in love with. You never forget that first experience. And so even though Brotherhood was amazing, and most people even like Brotherhood better than the original from a story standpoint, for me personally, I fell in love with the little pipsqueak and his brother and even Mustang and all the rest of the characters from the first Fullmetal. So I have a very special place in my heart for the first one.
Oh, brilliant. So what aspects of the two do you like the most? You know, scenes and scripted lines.
Well, you know what's funny is that when we were making the first Fullmetal Alchemist, everybody fans that would come up at conventions would say, I love Fullmetal Alchemist. Have you read the manga? And I would say, of course, no, I haven't had the chance. And they would all say the same thing. The manga is amazing. So I always had in the back of my mind that whatever the manga story was, it must be pretty good. When I found out that they were making another Fullmetal Alchemist, I got a little worried.
Yeah.
Because the first one was so great, and it turned out so wonderful, and I was afraid that the second one couldn't possibly measure up to the first one. But when I found out that it was patterned after the manga, that it was going to follow the manga, I thought, whew, that's a relief, because I've been hearing for years that the manga was so great. So I really loved that about Brotherhood. It was much darker, right? It was much, much heavier and harder hitting than the original. But there were so many endearing moments in the original, too. It was a pleasure to be a part of both of them.
Brilliant. Nice.
That's a scary picture.
That's it, isn't it? Just I was like, oh. Do you feel both storylines deal with grief in a good way, showing the positives in the darkest times?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I've received so many emails from fans talking about how the story of Fullmetal Alchemist, or the relationship between the brothers, or the pushing forward in the midst of adversity. Some of these kind of themes really resonated with a lot of people. And it got them through very difficult times. A lot of people just happened to find it.
Yeah.
They found Fullmetal at a moment in their lives where they needed a little bit of encouragement, you know? They needed to believe that they could do it too, you know? If this little pipsqueak, you know, with an arm missing and a leg missing, and his brother and these basically children, right, thrown into this big world, if they were able to push forward and make it through the tough things, then maybe you could too. And that really resonated with a lot of people.
I bet.
And that was one of my favorite parts of the series, was knowing that it meant so much to so many.
Definitely. So how do you think the development of the brothers' relationships compared over the two stories?
I feel like they were very similar.
Yeah.
You know, when I found out we were doing Brotherhood, I was so excited because one of my favorite parts of the whole story was having a brother. It was just neat to have a brother. How many of you have a brother? How many of you have a younger brother? See, I always wanted a younger brother. I wanted a little brother that I could kind of be like, you know, an encouragement to, and I could teach him to play baseball, and I could teach him to do this or that, and show him how to do this, and he, you know, he would look up to me, and I would be kind of a, you know, help him out. But I'm an only child, so I don't have any brothers or sisters. So when Full Metal came out, I think my favorite part of the whole thing was that I got to have a brother. And the little boy that played Alphonse, Aaron Dismuke, was literally 13 years old when we did Fullmetal Alchemist. And we would do conventions together like this, and he literally became like a little brother. And we would hang out, we would do conventions together. I would teach him how to sign his name because he was so young, he hadn't learned like cursive yet. And I felt like for those years, I had a little brother, albeit much bigger than me.
Yeah. So what's your favorite quality in Edward?
I guess just, I think my favorite quality of Edward Elric is probably that he just doesn't give up. I think that's a quality that all of us could use, right? When you get discouraged, how much are you able to take? How much can you bear before you give up? That's the big question, right? And I love that Ed is not somebody who gives up easily.
Yeah.
He's determined to do what he's set out to do, and despite whatever challenges, despite whatever's thrown his way, he keeps pressing forward. And I love his loyalty to his brother, and to the goal, and it's very inspiring. Very inspiring.
Cool, man.
You know what I love about Ed is that he's not a perfect hero. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, there are heroes that are just so squeaky clean, and they're just, you know what I mean? They always do it right, and they always make the best choices, blah, blah, blah. But who can relate to that? I can't. You probably can't, because in real life, people make mistakes. We fall, we stumble, we make bad choices.
Yep.
But the difference is whether you get up after that mistake and press forward.
Definitely.
And what I loved about Ed is that he is a broken hero. He's clearly the hero, but he makes his share of mistakes. He fails, but he gets back up and presses forward.
I like that. Very good, my man. So when you voice record, do you do it on your own, or are you in a group?
Unfortunately, we record alone.
Ah.
You know, I went to Tokyo a few years ago, and one thing that I wanted more than anything else was to watch them record. I wanted to see how they did it compared to how we do it. Now, when the Japanese record an anime, the animation itself is not finished yet. So they have the opportunity to perform the lines any way they want. And then the animators will draw the characters to match their performance. And all of the actors are together at the same time. It's the coolest thing.
Yeah.
They've got microphones lined up, and they've got big screens with the storyboards on them, and an actor will step up and will do his line, and then he'll step back, and another actor will step up and do his line, but they do it all together, like a radio play. Well, when we record anime in English, because the animation is already done, you have to match the mouth movements of what is already locked in place. That's not easy. Some people can perform and act very well, but it's very different when you have to perform within a very locked, strict cadence of mouth movement.
Yeah.
So you can't do it all together. You know what I mean? If you were to get us all together, me and Travis and Laura and Maxie or anybody, and we tried to do a scene from an anime, one of us would probably mess up within 3 or 4 lines, right? Because you have to get it perfect. So it doesn't make sense to try to do it all together. So we always record alone. So if you did not know that, next time you're watching an anime and two characters are talking to each other, I want you to remember that in all probability, one of those people recorded 2 weeks alone before the other guy came in and recorded the other half of the conversation. They're not actually talking to each other.
Wow.
And that's part of the challenge of anime dubbing, is to make it sound like you're talking to someone and interacting with them.
Wow. So I've got one last question on The Alchemist. What of the deadly sins did you like the most?
Is this a trick question?
No. Go for it.
Which
Be honest.
of the deadly sins do you like the most? You're not supposed to like
You're
any
not
of the
supposed
deadly
to.
sins. What's your favorite sin?
Come on. That's it.
Okay. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
Don't judge. Lust.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Lust was hot. I am a normal guy. Lust was hot. And Laura Bailey, who voiced Lust, was amazing.
Yeah.
And Lust turned out to be good, right? Like, she kind of turned at the very end and helped Ed.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Lust.
No, I like that. Well, I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to go on to something which I stumbled across when I was doing my research on you, that I was gobsmacked, my jaw dropped to the table, and I personally love myself. Is Star Trek continues.
Star Trek continues!
This, I'm telling you now, guys, if you have not even typed it in on YouTube and you're a Star Trek fan, you need to have this in your life.
I know that camera's locked down, so I probably shouldn't have stood up like this, because now it's looking at my tummy here. Star Trek continues. Check it out. Oh, my gosh. You guys, let me tell you something. When I was a little boy, it was all about Star Trek.
Oh, damn.
You don't know. Like, I was obsessed when I was a little boy. I would watch the original series of Star Trek on a 19-inch black and white television. My parents had just divorced, and me and my mom lived in this little apartment, and I would watch it every day at 5 o'clock on Channel 11. I absorbed it. My mother hated it because I lived for it. Like, she couldn't get me away from it. You know what I mean? I would lock myself in my room, and I would build phasers and make tricorders and sew costumes. And my mother used to call it Star Trash.
Oh.
Because she was like, Victor, you're obsessed. So this was when I was a little boy, right? But here's the cool part. When I was a little boy and I watched Star Trek, I became inspired to try things creatively that I'd never tried before. Whether it was to make a costume or to act. I went to school and tried out for the school plays because I loved Star Trek and watched what they did, and I wanted to do what they did. I would go to the hardware store and I would buy duct tape and balsa wood and screws and nails and glue and try to make communicators. I'd never tried to make anything before. Now, the reason I tell you that is because I think you know what I'm talking about. A lot of you guys watch an anime series or a sci-fi series, and something in you says, I want to try to build that sword or that gun. And a little voice in your head goes, you can't build anything. You've never built anything in your life. But you try it, and you're good at it. Or you want to make a costume because you're inspired by a show. Well, Star Trek was that for me. So now fast forward 40 years.
Yeah.
And I got a bunch of people together. We've rebuilt the entire soundstage, you guys. All of it. The bridge, transporter room, briefing room, captain's quarters, corridor, Jeffrey's tube, all of it. And we've made episodes that pick up right where the original series was canceled. I don't know if you know this or not, but do you remember in the original series, Captain Kirk used to say, these are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. It's a 5-year mission, right? To explore a strange new world. 5 years. They were canceled in their 3rd year. So my desire was to pick it up where it was canceled and finish the 5-year mission. We've won over a dozen awards.
Yep.
We've got over 6 million views. There are 7 full-length episodes online for you to watch right now. And here's the best part. They're free. This is pure labor of love, you guys. This is my love letter to Star Trek. This is my way of saying thank you for inspiring me the way you did when I was a little boy. We've already finished our series. The last 4 episodes are in post-production right now, and they are going to finish the original series of Star Trek and leave all of the characters where Star Trek the Motion Picture picked them up. I don't know if you guys remember that movie, some of you? Back in the late 70s, 10 years after the original series was canceled, Star Trek the Motion Picture came out. And by that time, Captain Kirk was an admiral at Starfleet.
Yeah.
He gave up the ship and took a promotion. Why would he do that? Mr. Spock had gone back to Vulcan, left the ship. Why would he do that? So we've created these amazing stories to explain why all of the characters make the choices they do, and it perfectly bumps up against the motion picture. So please check it out, okay?
Go and check it out.
StarTrekContinues.com. You will feel like you found episodes that were locked in a vault somewhere for 50 years that just never were broadcast. Several people that you know. How many of you ever watched Mythbusters? You guys know Grant Imahara from Mythbusters? He plays Sulu.
Yeah.
Todd's a voice actor friend. Chuck Huber, a voice actor friend. See this guy playing Scotty?
Yeah.
Do you know why this is cool? His name is Chris Doohan. Do you know why that's important? His father's name was James Doohan. His father was Scotty. His father was the original Scotty in the original series, and he's playing his father's role. How cool is that?
That is absolutely cool.
Check it out.
So
StarTrekContinues.com.
And episode 8 is being aired on the 1st of April, Still Treads the Shadow. And to be quite fair...
Yes, our 8th episode is going to premiere in just a couple of weeks at Dallas Comic Con, and then it'll be online for everybody to see.
Was it daunting, though? Like, obviously, you play Kirk. Was it daunting to play Kirk?
Yes.
Did you... So, obviously, watching all of this original series, that was your research, or did you think, hang on a minute, I need to find a tiny bit more out of what Kirk's all about?
You know what? Let me tell you guys something. Did you ever dream of doing something, but in the back of your mind, you knew you'd never get to do it? You know what I'm talking about? Like, you daydream about climbing Mount Everest, or you know what I mean? Or you daydream about flying like Superman, or you daydream about some amazing thing, but in the back of your mind, you know, well, you'll never get to do that. That's how I felt about this. My whole life, I probably fantasized about how much fun it would be to get to play Captain Kirk. Mostly because, like I said, when my parents divorced, Captain Kirk kind of became like a dad, you know, like a role model, a father figure. So when I actually did this series, and there was a lot of excitement about playing this role, but then there was a lot of, you know, a little bit of fear. Like, oh my gosh, now I actually have to do it. It's one thing to fantasize about it, right? But it's another thing to actually do it.
Yeah. Definitely.
So it was rather daunting.
Yeah.
But I love the character so much. I have such a deep respect and affection for the original series. And I think when you guys watch it, you'll see that. It comes out. I love it when people come up to us and say, you guys look like you're having such a good time. We are.
You do.
We love what we're doing.
And hats off to you. That I was genuinely gobsmacked and in admiration of that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that.
We've even had some guest stars from a lot of other sci-fi series. Battlestar Galactica, Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Colin Baker. We've got some amazing guest stars coming up. Check it out, please.
Yeah, go and check that out, guys. It's absolutely amazing. One last question before we end this interview, Vic. What method of acting do you prefer, behind the mic or in front of the camera?
Don't make me choose.
Come on, Vic.
No, I could never choose.
You could never choose. You just love...
I love creating things.
Yeah.
I write music
Yeah.
and produce and sing and anything of a creative nature. You know how they have you ever heard the phrase "jack of all trades, master of none"? Have you heard that term? I feel like that's me. I love doing so many different things that I'm not really great at any of them. I just love doing so many. sometimes fans have asked me if you had to pick one thing that you do,
Yeah.
music or voice acting or filmmaking, which one would you pick? And I usually say I would pick not kill me. Just like I could never pick. I wouldn't want to live without doing all of them in some way.
Yeah.
I feel like my life is like a pie.
And you've got all
And there are different wedges of the pie. And on any different day, filmmaking may be this big a piece, voice acting may be this big a piece, music may be this big, and next month, maybe voice acting is this big, and music is this big. So as long as I get to do some of it, I just love doing it. I'm very blessed. I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity to do what I do. I would be doing it whether anybody noticed it or not.
We're blessed to have you, Vic. To be fair,
this is a great room to sing in. Do you hear the reverberation in here?
Come on, Vic. Give us a blast. Come on, Vic. Oh, go on, Vic. Come
Just
on,
a
Vic.
small town girl
Oh.
living in a lonely world.
Oh.
Wait a minute, I'm taking it down. Just a small town girl living in a lonely world. She took the midnight train going anywhere.
Woo! Vic Mignogna, everyone. Round of applause. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for coming out.
Remember, like, subscribe, see Vic's face over again on our YouTube channel, MCM Buzz. Press that notifications bell as well so you won't miss out on anything. And guys, we will see you very soon. Round of applause for Vic Mignogna, everyone. Thank you very much.